Sunderland will be attacking from left to right, away from their supporters in the first half, which will hopefully mean 1 or 2 celebrations in front of them after the break. And Danny, how do you expect kind of the first 5-10 minutes, that first block of the game to pan out?
Yeah, let's have a look at this counter-attack.
Yeah, Oxford are straight on the attack with Goodrum down this left-hand side. Sunderland flocking back, but he still comes away with the ball, Goodrum. It's found its way to Harris and Hume. They were a bit unsure there, Sunderland. It'll be a corner.
How do I expect it to go? Perhaps not like that in the first 20 seconds of the game. Good counter-attack from Oxford. So they picked up the ball in their own half, driving bodies forward. Bit of energy down this left-hand side with Goodrum, almost finding their way into the box and creating an opportunity. And well, there we go now. First set piece of the afternoon from an Oxford side who pose a threat.
Yeah, you mentioned the set plays being the sort of leading threat for Oxford.
Yeah, Hellick up there as well. 3 goals. He was an absolute threat for Huddersfield.
And it comes from the right-hand side. That one was a poor one, though. They get another chance that's come off Jobe.
1 or 2 asking for handball in there. I think Hellick being one. So it just pops up at Jobe at the near post. He tries to deal with it. Wasn't a great delivery. We get another go at it.
They'll hope for a better delivery this time. Second corner of the game for Oxford. Just over a minute played. He's come to the edge of the box this time. He'll come in from Rodriguez. Back out to Goodrum again. He's going to try and give Patrick Roberts a run for his money, and Roberts makes the block. Out it comes to Brannigan. Headed away. And Sunderland can try and move out.
Yeah, frantic, wasn't it? A decent ball. You see there to the far post. He just drilled to that far post area to get Manning free round the back. Doesn't catch it as clean as he would have liked, but a little bit of panic back there for Sunderland. And it's come again, Oxford.
Tyler Goodrum, the main serviceman of an Oxford team that have been starved of goals of late, but he does have 5 assists, the most in the squad of Gary Rowett. Here's Patrick Roberts. It's going to be a goal kick, I think, off Goodrum.
I'm not sure in terms of how they'll play to him. You see there, no pressure on him at the back. It's a big shift out to this left-hand side and look to pick up the second balls. I think you're looking at Goodrum, just looking at him early on. He looks like he's a bit of a jinker, getting on the ball really. He'll try and get at Trey Hume. But from our point of view, you've got to try and stem that really and take control of the game and earn your right to play.
Sunderland can regroup now. Patterson's goal kick out to the left-hand side. Straight out of play from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, just having a quick look at that Sunderland setup. You see Enzo Lafay over on that far side. He has gone out to the left this afternoon. Chris Rigg and Jobe just in behind. Wilson Isidore.
Will Vaulks behind the throw-in. Now, you mentioned that being one of their main outlets. Possibly not from this far back, but we'll see. In it comes indeed, into the box. There's 2 Sunderland players there, and it was very nearly Ben Nelson, the centre-half, who got on the end of it.
Yeah, it's some weapon, isn't it? I mean, you see where he's thrown that from there. Obviously, they want to be taking a few higher up the pitch, but centre-backs forward for Oxford.
Oxford making a bright start here, and they'll get the ball down the left-hand side, and it'll come in. It should be dealt with there by Jobe. He's got time to take it on. Back out to Long, and now Plaqueta, the Polish international. He's up against Lafay. Lafay manages to get the touch. Sunderland just looking to have a bit of time on the ball.
Yeah, get a couple of passes in. Frantic, as you say, Oxford pressing when they turn possession over.
Bit of a miscue there from Chris Rigg, and Oxford get it back, working hard in these opening exchanges.
Yeah, not allowing Sunderland to settle at all, are they? You see, difficult to try and get out and to keep hold of the ball. It's only just under 4 minutes gone, but it's a good start for Oxford.
Brannigan lofts one, and Plaqueta gets the header in front of Hjelde, cleared by 09, only as far as Vaulks. Go back home now for Oxford. Sunderland winners here on their last visit to the Kassam. Elliot Embleton with a late winner. Back in the League One days that we hope never come again, and for Oxford they hope will not come next season. They've still got plenty of work to do. All bouncing around, and Sunderland handball appeals are waved away. Here come Oxford again. Here's Nelson.
I think it'll suit Oxford, they'll be happy. They've got 1 or 2 technicians. Say Brannigan, he'll try and get on it. We've got to be brave this afternoon, step on. You can see Chris Rigg, as I say, out possession. Generally we go 4-4-2. Chris Rigg's always the one that joins Wilson Isidore. We're going to have to step onto them centre-backs. If you don't, Hellick and Nelson are just going to take a touch and they're going to keep it in the diags. And it becomes a long old afternoon.
And talk of those 2 Devils, they're in the Sunderland box now, ready for this Will Vaulks throw.
Hellick there, big physical presence.
The referee's seen something he doesn't particularly like, probably a bit of grappling as usual. It is Hellick, yeah.
As well, picking him up.
Carl Hellick, yeah, certainly an aerial threat. Launched in by Volks again from this right-hand side. It was over Job's head, but it's half cleared. Out to Goodrum. Swing it to the back stick where Hellick's still there, and it'll come out to Greg Lee. Still in the Sunderland area with Rodriguez. Now Brannigan, who can hit them, and Patterson makes a fantastic diving save to his left. Oxford corner, and we know Brannigan can hit them as of Monday.
Yeah, as we said, they scored a rocket last week, didn't he, down at Cardiff? Catches this one flush, and it's a good save from the Sunderland number 1, getting across to his left-hand side.
First major action of the game for Anthony Patterson, and it's what he does best.
But yeah, it's been all Oxford, hasn't it? So Sunderland can't get out their half, and sort of suffocating Sunderland in and around their 18-yard box. Ball after ball coming in there, and Brannigan pulls the trigger. Another corner for Oxford.
And it will come again from Tyler Goodrum. It's an outswinger, and it's up into the sky. Wilson Isidore heads as far as Brannigan. It's Volks. He might have a go. He does have a go, and it's harmlessly off target.
Just couldn't quite get it set out of his feet there. So Chris Rigg possibly putting pressure on him.
It's a Sunderland attack, and it's Isidore into the box just as we were about to take a look at the replay of the Volks shot, but Sunderland have a corner of their own now. Isidore with a chance to get himself up the pitch.
I'm not sure on the build-up, as you say there, we're looking at the replay, but Wilson Isidore finds himself one-on-one. Nelson just does enough. Let's have a look back here now. There's a long ball straight over the top. It's Hellick actually trying to get back in. Get back in from that set piece, and just does enough. Yeah, leans into Wilson Isidore.
Good strength there from Hellick. It'll be interesting physical battle. In it comes from Roberts, headed away at the near post. It'll come out to Chris Rigg though. It might bounce kindly wide from the youngster.
Yeah, similar to Volks really. Not really set Chris Rigg. Swinging the edge of the box there, drops to him, just pops up, doesn't it? And he knows he's got to take the strike early. He's getting pressed. Come across, yeah, slices it, doesn't he, up over the top. But a bit of a breather from a Sunderland point of view.
41 appearances this season for Chris Rigg, and that's just in the league. That is incredible for a 17-year-old, isn't it? And it's easy to forget sometimes with how much of a regular he is.
Yeah, no, as I say, he had a bit of a taste of last season, didn't he? And then made himself a regular in and around it this season, like Job.
There's another magician in Enzo Lefay. He'll cut inside and find Trey Hume with the switch. Now it's a chance for Sunderland to put some pressure of their own onto Oxford. Here's Roberts. 09. Just looking to keep a bit of possession. And you said, Danny, didn't you, that Sunderland would dominate the ball this afternoon?
Yeah, well, you'd hope so, yeah. Obviously that first 7 minutes or so didn't go to plan, but listen, just how many times you say take the sting out of the game, get a few passes and try and quieten the crowd down. And here now, you know, we've seen it throughout the season, we're more than capable, comfortable in possession as much as we are out of it. Just you say there'll be 1 or 2 openings throughout the afternoon from a Sunderland point of view, you'd expect.
Fans in good voice over on that far side. Yeah, it's a strange ground, isn't it, Kassan, with that open stand. So every week you almost see someone up on top of a bus or a coach to try and see in, especially during the lockdown season, I remember.
Yeah, free ticket is what you're saying down there.
Exactly that, yeah.
Yeah, it's one I've not played at. Actually, Oxford never played there.
They had some years down in the doldrums, didn't they, in the conference for 4 years, as it was known then. Great effort to get back into the Championship last season. Elder's header back to Dan Neal. I'm not sure that was an intended target, but we'll take it. Here's 09. Oxford not dealing well to put too much pressure on. 09's going to take as long as he wants to take, and now it's through the lines to Job. He's got Lefay ahead of him. He's got 2 to cross to. He uses Lefay up against Long. And now here's Dan Neal. Could be a chance here for Sunderland. Hume. He's got Roberts outside him. Patient play this from the Black Caps. Now Chris Rigg. Aimed up towards Job. Great touch from him, but Long just gets back at him. Now it's been a bit of a turnover, hasn't it?
Yeah, better from Sunderland. It was Luke O'Neill actually started. He's got his foot on the ball, hasn't he? He's looking for a passing lane, and eventually he pops a lovely ball through, takes 3 or 4 Oxford players out of the game, gets us on the attack. And then just as we're getting towards the edge of their box, really, we sort of slowed it down a little bit, allowed them to get back into a shape. It was Chris Rigg, wasn't it? Just trying to drop it over the top for Job. The opportunity went away.
So we're going to look to start again here with O'Neill. He's under pressure this time from Ruben Rodriguez, who's come into the side. O'Neill up against 2 of them, wins a throw. Start with O'Neill again. Chris Meckham, great season he's had on loan on the whole as well.
Yeah, fantastic Chris. Reliable, isn't he? Puts in solid sort of 8 out of 10 performances week in, week out.
Look for Wilson Isidore with that ball, but it's as far as Lee keeps it in play. Launched upfield. Dan Neal's going to get it down for Sunderland, but Oxford just, you thought they were going to win it back, but Trey Hume's got there first and he'll knock it inside. Here's Rigg. Sheffield Wednesday, not a lot to play for. Portsmouth secured their safety on Monday, so it's a carnival atmosphere for their fans up at Hillsborough. And he's just nicked it there, Mark Harris, in front of Meckham, and Oxford could attack, but it's going to be cleared. Someone get it back. Chris Rigg, what a lovely touch, and he's... No, hasn't won the foul, no contact, says Tim Robinson, the referee. Now, he pulls it back.
Yeah, he waited, didn't he, the ref? Obviously, he was getting away from Chris Rigg there, he just drops into a pocket of space on the turn, and then he just nips it through. Let's have a look at it back here now. Bit of an air shot, isn't it, from Nelson coming in.
Yeah.
Didn't look like he was given the free kick initially, and then all of a sudden, 5-6 seconds later, decides to give it. And
it didn't. There wasn't any advantage because it was straight to an Oxford man. Yeah. So yeah, he obviously just took his time. He's refereed Sunderland once this season, Tim Robinson, and that was the 2-2 draw against Leeds United up at the Stadium of Light. Nian Melier, the man of the match for Sunderland in that one. Still having a word with the Oxford skipper Brannigan, Tim Robinson here. Obviously discussing why he gave the foul and why it took so long.
Yeah, I think from Brannigan's point of view, he doesn't feel that there's much contact there. Yeah, I think Nelson was that come in. Bit of a swipe at it, but was there too much contact? We're not sure, but referee eventually gives the free kick.
Play begins again. Sunderland in no particular rush to launch it upfield. They want to dominate possession. Here's Dan Neal, nice touch. I think that's going to be another foul. It is, yeah. Plays advantage. Oh, lovely switch up to the right hand side. Can Hume keep this in? He can. Tries to play a headed 1-2 there with Rigg, and Hume was pulled back there. That's a definite free kick.
Could be a booking. It is. I don't think the Oxford fans are happy. They feel that the ball's gone out of play. I know Trey's most of his body's off the pitch there. He just dips his head forward to keep it in play. And then, yeah, it's wrong side, isn't he? Goodrum just an arm on his left shoulder.
Tyler Goodrum with the first booking of the contest, 13.5 minutes in. Real threatening position this for Sunderland with Roberts and Lefay both behind it. Free kick just on the edge of the area to the right hand side.
I think if you're looking at a strike, really, it probably fancies Patrick, doesn't it, to try and get it up and over that 2-man wall, but you see Enzo Lefay feed it in behind that Oxford line.
6 Sunderland players occupying the Oxford box. It is Lefay with the cross, and Volks got the touch right into that 6-yard box, Danny.
Yeah, well, he's got Job coming in on the stretch just in behind him. Vital touch from Will Volks. Does really well. Good ball in with pace and dip. You see there, Job thinks he's got a tap in.
Yeah, he had to lunge for that, Volks, and he had to get there because, as you say, what a goal that is for Plymouth, who could do it against all odds in their survival battle. They've been bottom of the league for most of the campaign. Meanwhile, it's a Sunderland corner on the left-hand side. It'll be out to the back post, Ben Nelson with the header clear. Find its way back for Sunderland, and it'll be launched out towards Chris Rigg, who can keep this in play. He can indeed. And straight into the box as well, and it's a great ball.
Do you know what a ball that is, by the way. He does well to keep it in initially, and then it's just dropping on sort of a half volley, really. He fires a lovely cross in, but nobody perhaps expects it and attacks it in the middle.
It was just a quick touch and cross, wasn't it, over the centre half's head, and it was begging for one, and it just seemed like no Sunderland player, like you say, was on the same wavelength. It's going to be a diagonal from 09 up towards Isidore. Half cleared out to Job. He can shield this one, and he's got Lefay to his left. Inside to Rigg, nice ball. Chris Rigg there up against Brannigan, who wins the foul off him.
It's been better for Sunderland, I'd say. Tricky 5 minutes or so, wasn't it? And then they've settled in, trying to get the ball down and pass it. They are getting pockets of space in there. Chris Rigg, in particular, just dropping off and getting off the back of that Oxford midfield, really trying to get on the ball, try and get Wilson Isidore involved in the game a little bit more if we can.
Oxford have won 10 of their 22 home games this season, and they're looking to just edge enough points to retain their championship status, which would be massive for them. Sunderland, of course, with that shout of the Premier League, but there's business to take care of first and foremost here. Start again from Anthony Patterson, who knocks it out left. It's a good ball out to Hjelde in the end, and he'll send Lefay. Enzo Lefay down this left-hand side. Hjelde stayed up with him, outside him. He uses him, Leo Hjelde. Sam Longu got there, and I think the referees have judged it to have already crossed the line.
Yeah, good build-up play, isn't it, actually? Hjelde pops it into Lefay. I think Hellick comes across, he's not sure, he does want to dive in. Maybe it's just a yard too much pace on the pass into the feet of Leo Hjelde to stand the cross up.
And as someone who played in similar positions, both centre-half and left-back, where do you see Leo Hjelde's future in terms of his outright position?
I think earlier in the season, pre-season, he had a few games at centre-back, actually. I thought he'd done quite well in pre-season. I see him more of a centre-back than what I would as a sort of a left-back, and in this day and age as well, perhaps more so than when I played. Full-backs are seen as more of a winger, aren't they, and expected to go and support attacks.
There's Mepham, he could be in trouble here, but he's managed to get to that one first, but it's only out to Plaqueta. He's got Harris as a through ball option, but Sunderland recover. He's still on it now, Plaqueta. Now Volks. Just looked as if Oxford would be able to nick it in behind for a second, but they've decided to play patiently. And it comes now from Volks, easy one to deal with for Lefay. Just looking for an out ball. And it's given away. And Harris tried to receive it on the turn. It's cleared in the end. They got away with one there.
Well, they did, yeah. You know, you want to see Enzo Lefay on the ball. Maybe not so much in your 18-yard box and twisting and turning.
Here he is again now, Lefay. He looks up for Joe, but it was Mikael Hellick who got to the ball first. Ooh, Rodriguez, foul there by Hjelde.
Could be the yellow card, yeah. Doesn't get there, does he? Commits.
Still down, Ruben Rodriguez.
Did well to get away with the yellow card there, Leo Hjelde.
Bit of a rash challenge.
Yeah, as I say, just going back to him there, and I think, you know, he's a different player to Dennis Erkin. Dennis likes to fly up and down. He's more of a support fullback, really, get behind the ball. But I think that's naturally more, he looks more of a centre-back to me that's being asked to go out and play at left-back.
It's going to be Goodrum, who got the Oxford booking to put this one into the area. It is Hjelde who gets up and wins the header, and it'll come out as far as Greg Lee, the Jamaican international. He was part of the Copa America squad last year, and it comes from Brannigan. He got a deflection, and it's come back out towards Greg Lee again. He'll dink it in. Hjelde wins the header once more. Now it's Plaqueta. Reverse pass cleared by Hjelde once more. Again, Sunderland just can't quite get that second ball, and Oxford are coming back at them again. Roberts wins it from Lee. And now Dan Neal's giving it away. It's Brannigan. Rodriguez finds Goodrum, and it's a loose ball from him. He tried to lay off a teammate. Sunderland get it clear, and it's one for Isidore to stretch and chase.
Good well there, Nelson. Ball dropping over his shoulder, lovely touch. Isidore bearing down on it. Oxford
very in your face so far in these opening 20.
Game plan, isn't it? Yeah, a bit old school, you would say, really, but you've got to play to your strengths. And you know, if you're saying to them you want to go and try and out-football Sunderland, then generally you'd expect Sunderland to come out on top. So you've got to play your way and try and dominate the ball in that way as much as you can, and they've done it quite well so far.
It's a nice ball out to the left-hand side for Jobe there. It's 3 arriving into the area now, and he wins a foul out of Will Volks, who's incensed by the decision, but it will be a free kick.
He's not happy, folks. He's had a quiet word with Jobe there.
A right smile from
Jobe's
Jobe.
had a little laugh as well. Let's have a look now. I think he throws a little step over in, does he? Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm going to tend to agree with Will Volks there. I think he goes down looking forward at Jobe, and his little reaction, his smile on his face suggests so as well. But it's a good situation for Sunderland to try and another ball into that Oxford 6-yard box.
Only 19, Jobe, but he knows how to win those, eke out those
Crafty
fouls
ones
in dangerous areas. Again, it's that same duo behind the free kick, this time from the opposite flank, and it's Roberts and Lefay.
Packed in that 6-yard box, I think. Patrick stepping back. I think it's going to be Lefay just to fizz it in here straight at the keeper. See if somebody can get a touch on it. It's not.
Lefay leaves it for Roberts, who finds Chris Rigg on the volley, and it was blocked. And now Oxford try to come away with it down the left. It'll be picked up by Dan Neal and launched back in. Oxford get it back with Nelson. Bit of a routine there, wasn't it, Chris Rigg?
Yeah, I think so. I'd say you expect it to be fizzed in there. I did certainly, but then they stand it up for Chris Rigg. The only thing is, it's a dink ball, and it gives the Oxford lads time to come and press him there. They get the block in. It's a decent strike, but Oxford managed to close the distance.
Loud and proud the Sunderland fans singing about Chris Rigg. It was Eliza Mayenda they were singing about just now, and Mayenda a big miss potentially today, given his form this season. Out with a concussion, of course. Yeah, so threat on the counter.
Listen, both of them are. Of course, we've seen Wilson certainly earlier in the season go back to his goal against Hull from the defensive corner, wasn't it? Ran the length of the pitch and scored as well. And Mayenda, similar in that way, then he puts the fear into defenders. So hopefully he'll be back next week, and then it's a big call, isn't it, for the manager as we go into that first game in the playoffs.
Will be yet another Volks throw as we reach the quarterly point of this game, and it comes. It's Mepham who won the header this time, cleared by Roberts out to Isidore, but it's come out to Plaqueta on the edge of the box, Rigg with the block. Still danger for Sunderland to deal with. Hellick backing into Luke O'Nien, and he gets the ball on the right hand side. O'Nien makes a nice block, and now it's Lefay. Yeah, just got a nick on the back of the heel there, Lefay.
Yeah, possibly accidental from Hellick, isn't it? He's stood down the back of his boot there, I think, and his Achilles. Stayed down, but the game goes on.
Sunderland marauding out of the back line with Mepham. Now Hume. Bit of an aimless ball, unfortunately, up towards Isidore, which Oxford easily deal with, and now it's Tyler Goodwin, blocked well by Hume. Roberts keeps it in. No, he doesn't. Throw into Oxford.
A little bit scrappy, hasn't it? Say Sunderland had settled in really sort of 10 minutes onwards for a period there, but again the game's gone scrappy, and that'll suit Oxford more, you'd think, and give them the opportunity to get bodies forward and load those Will Volks throw-ins into that Sunderland box.
Long, one of the quartet who came into Gary Rowett's 11. Change made from their trip to Cardiff on Easter Monday. Ben Nelson, the loanee from Leicester, finds Goodwin. He's under pressure from 3 Sunderland men, but he emerges with the ball, and now it's Greg Lee. Hume with the challenge. Plaqueta picks it back up, but Rigg wins it back, and now Sunderland can come forward again with Lefay. There's 4 of them up at the moment, so he waits for Hjelde. Going back to Patterson, playing it safe. I think Sunderland want the free kick rather than to play the advantage, but the game continues. Yeah, like you say, Danny, just a bit disjointed and a bit slow at times.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, as I say, they've threatened Sunderland, haven't they, to sort of take control of the game in terms of possession and move the ball on, and then Oxford sort of stem that flow really. We've had 1 or 2 set pieces, haven't we, of course, as well, around the box. I think Oxford will be happy with the way the first 25 minutes have gone.
Equaliser there for Pompey at Hillsborough. Here's Mepham for Sunderland, meanwhile. plays it down the line, but Long will win the header, only as far as Lefay. And now it's Joe. Could be an opportunity here for the Black Cats. Wilson Isidore, which is if the flag stayed down, his ball could get across to Roberts, but Lee gets there first. Again, just a couple of 50-50 balls which are getting picked up here and there, and Oxford eventually win the free kick out of Sunderland. Whenever Brannigan gets it for Oxford, he wants to knock it out to that right, doesn't he?
Yeah, he'll generally be the one. I know Will Volks will sit a little bit deeper, but Brannigan will want to be the one, the skipper, getting on the ball, trying to dictate the play from their point of view. And then, as I say, they're not afraid to hit them big switches. I think both the wingers look like they're comfortable on the ball in possession for Oxford. With them generally going with that front two, as we say, Rodriguez and Harris coming in this afternoon. They get ball into them as well, play forward while you can.
Assistant referee there judging that the ball went out to play, and Oxford will have another chance with Volks' throw.
Back there, is he? Volks.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he wanted to take it quickly or what, but they do take it now. Paqueta and Volks. Sunderland appealing that it went out to play, but no can do as it comes into the box again. It's half cleared, and Harris will hit it on the turn, harmlessly out.
Yeah, that's the problem there. If you switch off a little bit, obviously you're expecting him to launch it in there, but if they can take it quick, they will, and he actually digs a decent ball out there, Will Volks. But we've actually defended the ball quite well so far coming into the box, so you know it's going to be a physical battle. You have to stand up and be counted, and they've done it quite well so far, Sunderland.
Mark Harris needs a goal. He's got 6 this season. He leads Oxford's scoring charts, but it's the lowest goal amount, joint lowest for the top scorer for a club in the Championship this season. Here's Brannigan, again trying to spray it out to that right. Hjelder's going to win the header. Now it's Lefay. It's going to be a foul out of Rodriguez. Looking as well. Second one for Oxford of the afternoon.
Yeah, he's arguing, isn't he? He's got his half Denzel Lefay down. He's had a couple Lefay so far this afternoon. Let's have a look. Striker trying to get back in. Sliding challenge.
There's not quite a lot of doubt in that one so much as the Joy one.
No, certainly not.
Free kick taken quickly and short. Again, Sunderland happy to keep possession in that middle third. Here's Mepham looking for an out ball. He's got Hume to his right. Uses him via Roberts. Roberts gets it back. It's cleared by Lee. Up into the wide blue yonder from Luke 09. Who's going to get this one first? It's Volks, and Oxford can come forward once again. It's Harris. Wins a foul out of Chris Mepham there.
One or two arguments, getting a little bit feisty, isn't it, in there? Does well, Harris just backs into Chris Mepham, holds him off it, wins his side a free kick.
If Harris was trying to claim it was cynical from Mepham.
Yeah, he's suggesting he's kicked through him maybe, but I'm not so sure there's too much more in it than a free kick.
In it comes from Volks. And the header's won, and it's into the back of the net. It's Ben Nelson.
Yeah.
Who looks like who's put Oxford in front.
Yeah, big goal for Oxford, isn't it? Well, I've said it before the game, that's 18 for the season, set pieces. Decent ball in, it's a deep ball into the box, isn't it? And then, yeah, just gets the free header, and up until that point, I just mentioned it a couple of minutes ago, we actually defended balls into the box quite well, but that one we haven't, and Oxford find themselves in front.
Oxford have struggled with their chance creation of late, but they'll be happy to get a reward for a positive start from their perspective in the opening half an hour, and the header there from Nelson just out of Patterson's reach.
Yeah, it gets in between the two centre-backs. You see Luke there, I think Luke can maybe come and attack it. He's off the back of Chris Mepham. To say gets in between them, and he doesn't really have to do a lot. That'll be the disappointing thing. Look, he just half a jump really and guides it into that far post there. You want more of a challenge coming in, certainly from our point of view, with the two centre-backs picking him up.
And we spoke, didn't we, earlier in the game about those big men. All 6'5" of Nelson reached that header.
Yeah, first goal of the season, I think.
First of the season, yeah. On loan from Leicester, Ben Nelson, only 21 years of age, puts Oxford in front, and now Sunderland have a mountain to climb. See if they can respond in kind. Here's Dan Neal. Nice footwork from him. Hasn't been on the ball too much in this first half an hour. He's got the fade to his left. Might take a few more risks now, Régis Lebris's side. He looked to get past along there. It was good defending really from the right back. Here's Blaqueta. As far as 09. Work then for Sunderland to do. It's Lefay back out on this left-hand side against Long once more. Blocks his cross. In the side in place of Peter Kioso. Decision made by Gary Rowett, which is coming to fruition so far for the hosts, who are in fine voice now. Too straight, too powerful for Rig.
A little bit disjointed, hasn't it, from a Sunderland point of view? So they're forcing balls, 1 or 2 around the pitch there, trying to get Enzo Lefay going down that left-hand side. It's not quite come off for him so far. 1 or 2, say, Long coming in at right back there, handling quite well so far. Still an hour or so to go. A lot of football to be played.
What would you want to see Sunderland do differently? Perhaps maybe a slight tactical tweak from Régis Lebris, because we're not really creating.
No, not at all. No, it's like trying to get, say, Wilson Isidore in the game. He's barely had 2-3 touches maximum, I think, so far. Patrick Roberts, haven't seen enough of him going forward, have we? Generally, we've gone down that left-hand side, as I say. Lefay's had a few runs down there, hasn't quite come off so far. And moments like this, where it's scrappy and Oxford coming out with it too often.
Oxford winning those 50-50s. It was Lefay dispossessed that time from Rodriguez. The two of them have had a bit of a tussle in this first half, but it came to nothing, luckily.
Here now, these situations, what we mentioned a couple of, look at the space now, come out to Mepham, look, the 5 players, there you go now, move the ball quicker, out your feet pass, move the ball quicker.
It's Chris Rigg and it's Nelson the goal scorer who comes across. Just not quite letting Sunderland into the final third, and when they do, it's normally Lefay out on that left, isn't it, and Long's stopping the supply.
Yeah, so far, as I say, he's defended quite well up against Enzo Lefay. Lefay's then maybe trying to drop deeper at times to try and get on it. He's had a couple of knocks as well, hasn't he?
Meat and drink that one up in the air for Nelson. You have to be a big boy to make Wilson Isidore look small. Here's Hume. Pressure on them is incessant, isn't it, from Goodrum, just breathing down his neck. It's Hjelder, he's going to look for Lefay, and it's Mikael Helik who comes across. See it out for the goal kick.
Well, they'll be happy, as you mentioned there, the 2 centre-backs, 6'4", 6'5", and we're sort of almost, in a way, playing into their hands, really, forcing balls up. Physicality mismatch, for Wilson Isidore, really. And we've got to be cuter on the ball, move it better. Really be delighted. As I say, they started really well, first 5 minutes or so, their game plan really getting the side on board. And then now to see that scoreline as well, just after the half-hour mark.
Go a long way to list many managers with more championship experience than Gary Rowett on the touchline, perhaps Neil Warnock, but yeah, Rowett certainly been around the block at this level and knows the intricacies of it. Here's 09. Back to Patterson. Sunderland just looking for any outball. Job's having a drop deep now as well.
See, sometimes I don't, again, going back to playing at left back days, and there, Leo Kjelder, whether it's something we work at far too high, Luke hasn't got a pass on, now Job's having to drop deeper. You're delighted as their full-backs and they're seeing, you know, Kjelder's stepping into that, taking up Enzo Lefay's space, really. You know, if he drops down, then the winger's got to drop down on top of him, then you can pop it into Lefay's feet.
Here's Dan Neal, this is a decent move, and it's up into the sky. Isidore's going to win it back from Long. Here's Lefay. Chance to create something, perhaps. Going to find Trey Hume. Dinked in by Hume, away by Helik. Lefay, back to Hume again. Just need to sustain this pressure. It's a crafty run from Chris Rigg. And he'll go into the box too, and Isidore was lurking.
Yeah, almost half chance, wasn't it, at best, really. Chris Rigg does really well, actually, on his right foot, gets to the byline. That's what you want from your striker, getting across that 6-yard near post area, really, almost nips it past the goalkeeper, Wilson Isidore.
Build from the back again here, Sunderland. Isidore, of course, one of the goal scorers in the reverse fixture in October. Seems a long time ago now. 2-0 win for Sunderland, and it was a fantastic volley over his shoulder as well. Job on the score sheet with the opener in that game. Here's Hjelde, now Lefay. He's got Hume inside him, but he'll take the shot on, it's off target.
Yeah, comes inside, doesn't he, on his favoured right foot really. Opens up for him, just gets underneath it, decent power behind it, but it's always on the rise. See there, long, Apathy shown down the line. Rodriguez, Paqueta coming back at him, allows him to skip inside.
We've been robbed somewhat of Enzo Lefay's ability, haven't we, where he's had that spell on the sidelines, because when he first arrived, he was capable of things that not many in the Championship have ever been able to do.
Yeah, again, I think I go back to, I said earlier on that Middlesbrough game really, where it didn't really seem for 20 minutes, then all of a sudden he got on the ball a little bit, didn't he? A few little tricks coming out and full of confidence. Say ideally from a Sunderland point of view, that you want to see him through the middle of the pitch, but again, he's being asked to go and do a job out on that left-hand side. We'll still give him the licence to do that. I think, was it, who he scored against? Was it Derby when he cut inside? Derby, wasn't it? I think back at the Stadium of Light. Or was it Luton? Either way, he cut in, didn't he, from a similar position as that, and then fired one into the far corner for his only Sunderland goal so far.
The Derby home game was before we joined. It was Derby away when he set up the ghost goal for Isidore that will never live down because of because we didn't see until play had resumed. We thought we were 2-0 up for a couple of minutes. And now here's Oxford's number 2, Sam Long, who's been doing excellently to keep out the Roma loanee, Lefay.
It might have been Luton then, I think. It was 2-0, was it? It was a 2-0 game anyway, so it could be Luton.
Yeah, we've had quite a lot of those home wins, but just not recently. QPR, of course, the visitors to the Stadium of Light for match day 46 next weekend. We know, of course, that our playoff semi-finals will be the 9th and the 13th of May. Now it's going to be another one for Will Volks to launch potentially into the area.
Playing at centre back in this Oxford team takes a couple of years off your life to cover these distances.
And it comes from Volks. It was Nelson up to win the header again. Isidore gets it clear. Here's Paqueta. Taking their time, Oxford, as they're entitled to do when they're a goal in front. Here's Volks. He's going to try and aim for the far stick. Greg Lee wins the header back in. O'Neill needs to deal with this, and he heads it back to Patterson.
He's got a leap, hasn't he, Lee? There, I see one earlier on the touchline down below was good spring. Ball comes back in.
Into the starting lineup by Gary Rowett. It's the experienced Joe Bennett, who started at Cardiff, a player who's hundreds of games under his belt in his career. Here's Chris Mepham. Hjelde. 9. Millwall with an outside chance of the playoff still lead Swansea by a goal to 0 late in this first half at the Den.
Good goal, isn't it? Just keeping a bit of pressure on Middlesbrough, Coventry, Bristol City.
Oxford win it back there from Sunderland in their own half, and now it's Goodrum coming forward, cuts inside Hume, who lost his footing. He'll take a strike on, just didn't dip in time, over the bar.
Yeah, a little bit loose from Trey Hume. I think goes for the nutmegs on the pass there, puts ball away, and then he gets back in, loses his footing. Opens up for Goodrum, but similar to Enzo Lefay a few minutes ago, blazes it over the top.
Tricky winger, Goodrum. Always an unpredictable quantity in the Championship. Patterson's long kick, Hellick once again gets his head to it. Not once but twice, and now we'll come back for Dan Neal, who's sitting deep. Now it's Trey Hume. Job just holding an ankle or a leg there, just walking with a bit of a limp. Hume's on the ball meanwhile. Job just been struggling there, but he seems okay.
I'll try and walk it off there, won't he? Just rolled his ankle a little bit, possibly.
Yeah, he just had an aerial challenge with Hellick when the goal kick from Patterson came up, yeah. Oh, and that's a really difficult ball there from Lefay behind Dan Neil, and they can come forward again with Ruben Rodriguez. Oxford, he's shy of support. Goodrum picks up the second ball. Here's Volks. Yeah, very fragmented from Sunderland, just haven't been able to get going in this first half. Could do with something out of nothing before half-time. It's given away this time by Nelson. Roberts is going to knock it over the top looking for Isidore, but it'll come through to Cumming.
Yeah, the ball's on there, loose in possession, gets away with it, Nelson, doesn't he? Patrick Roberts tries to just drop it over the top. I think it's the right ball, but too much on the pass.
It's the first time we've mentioned Jamie Cummings' name in a long time. The Oxford keeper's not really had a save to make. Here's Chris Rigg. He's looking for Roberts, but Nelson was
just forcing it. Look at Joe to his left-hand side there. Keep the ball. He's got Akers in front of him. We're just forcing it a little bit.
Just seem comfortable, the Oxford back line at the moment. It's frustrating, I'm sure, for Regis Lebris. What would the message kind of be at half-time if you're looking at this, how it is now?
It's almost a bit copy and paste recently, isn't it? As I say, they've made a load of changes again, getting to what you'd say is arguably the strongest team available at this moment in time, but sort of gelled or clicked so far this afternoon.
Job will knock it long, but Oxford are well covered there with Lee and Nelson up against Roberts, and the two of them play a 1-2 and they get themselves out of trouble. Lee knocks it down the line. He finds Mark Harris, who keeps it in play up against Luke O'Nien. Inside towards Rodriguez, who wins a free kick out of Dan Neil.
Yeah. As I say, I think disjointed and not quite at it. But using half-time, we've got to come out and say play with more energy and tidier on the ball. And a lovely little bit of skill there. As he picked up a yellow card, Chris Mepham.
Yeah, it was Mepham with the challenge, wasn't it? Neil was breathing down his neck. Mepham blocked him off with the body check.
Yeah, just steps across him, doesn't he? So Alex having a word about there, but
yeah, it is a yellow card for Chris Mepham. Just before half-time, 3 minutes until the break. Mepham's walking a tightrope now. He's already had one red card this season against Burnley.
Opportunity from a set piece, isn't it? Say, coming up to the break, from an Oxford point of view, if they can double their lead going into the break, it'd be massive. Brannigan stood over it with Wilkes again.
Yeah, it's four of them having a discussion, isn't there? But yeah, Goodrum and Brannigan remain behind the ball.
Plaqueta's come across and pulled Wilkes away. Beat Brannigan to it.
Yeah, stick to the throws. Although he did set up the Nelson goal with a brilliant delivery into the area with his foot, so yeah, it's going to be laid off for Brannigan. Out for a goal kick, wide this time.
Yeah, he tries to shift it there, and by the time he gets to the ball, I think it's Dan Neil actually. He's almost stood on top of him, isn't he? I think just pull the trigger from a dead ball. See there now. Just puts him off and he drags the shot in the end.
Tried to go down the same lines as Cardiff, it was laid off for him, but that was centrally, wasn't it? And much further
out as well. Cardiff probably unexpected it from that distance, but in the back of the net on the top corner. Lovely strike, as we said earlier.
Yeah, clearance there made by Mepham, and it's going to be another throw for Volks on this left flank. Mepham heavily involved in these past 5 minutes. In comes Hellick. Nelson will no doubt be there as well. Here he comes. He goes backwards this time, Volks. It's going to be dinked in from Goodrum. Enzo Lefay with that header. Plaqueta. Sunderland trying to push out defensively, but it'll come back over towards Trey Hume, and now it's Job, chance to maraud forward, and a rare foray up the pitch for Sunderland. That's going to be a free kick.
Comes across.
Yeah, Dan Neil, the man who went down. Final minute of the 45. Sunderland still haven't tested Jamie Cumming in the Oxford goal and find themselves trailing. Here's Hume. Oxford involved in a press now, Patterson being closed down, knocks it up the pitch. Isidore wins the header, but Lefay just wasn't onto the flick. Sunderland haven't been beaten in 90 minutes in their last 14 matches against Oxford, of course, as Rob Mason pointed out on the pre-match show. The only defeat was via a penalty shootout in the League Cup in 2019. Luke O'Nien did score one for Sunderland in that shootout. Here comes Patrick Roberts meanwhile. It's Brannigan who made the challenge. He had Lefay out to his left there, Roberts.
Does well initially, doesn't he, Patrick? Rides a couple of chances. I think, as you say, Dan Lefay's got acres out on that left-hand side. Just roll it into his path, let him do his stuff.
Sunderland looking to create something as it ebbs into stoppage time. Bit of an uncertain ball which Helder heads down for Joe. Will Volks sweeps up the danger for Oxford. Now it's Przemysław Plaqueta coming in field. Nelson, and Oxford just looking calm and composed at the moment. Here's Goodrum. Rodriguez. Cardiff lead West Brom. Huge goal for Cardiff. They're involved with Oxford down in that survival battle. Luke O'Nien with a good challenge on Mark Harris.
Teams down the bottom picking up results so far, aren't they? Plymouth winning well, weren't they, earlier, 1-0.
That's going to be half-time, and Sunderland, who wanted to get on the attack, are deprived from doing so, and work has to be done in the second half if they are to avoid a fourth straight defeat.
Well, try and get Wilson Isidore into the game a little bit more. He's been isolated. I think maybe had 2-3 touches at maximum in that first half, hasn't he? Support him, get balls out wide. Want to see more from Patrick Roberts driving forward. Lefay as well. Difficult first half for him out on that left-hand side. And obviously, if you're not creating from wide areas or certainly balls threaded through, then Cummins is going to have a quiet afternoon.
Back underway then, Sunderland shooting towards where the pocket of fans are in the corner, at least from right to left in the all-white strip. Hopefully a better showing and a few chances created. Balls into the air, Danny. They were meat and drink, weren't they, in the first half of the Oxford?
Yeah, we've got to be cute, haven't we, as you say, those two big centre-backs there. They don't want balls threaded in behind them. You see that in the first half where Isidore almost got him off the back of Hellick. But if you're chipping balls forward like that, it's meat and drink, isn't it, for two big centre-backs?
Oxford win a free kick just ahead of the halfway line. Chris Meckham, the man penalised. Again, they'll look to put them into those dangerous areas for the flicks and the second balls. They've got plenty of big physical presences up. One of them, of course, grabbing the opening goal. Comes a free kick sprayed out to the right-hand side, and they get the flick, and they manage to get on the end of it. Mark Harris, Sunderland seem to fall asleep there. Here's Przemysław Plaqueta, dinked into the box, and Greg Lee goes up for the header, and here's Hellick, tries the acrobatics. Sunderland's still not got it clear yet, and it's a free shot on for Goodrum. Now it's Rodriguez. Goodrum again with a shin roller, and now Isidore. And they've given the free kick to Oxford.
Yeah. Go back to that, as you said, Dan, there. The ball come in there, it's cushioned down, and we almost stopped, didn't we, thinking the ball's going to run out of play. Recycled possession there. Oxford, they have a couple of goes at it. Let's just have a look here back now. It's just stand on it. It's actually Trey Hume, actually. Yeah, Isidore takes the ball, doesn't he? Thinks he's away, but it's Trey Hume that comes across. I think it is a free kick. Dangerous position. Brannigan ball under his arm.
Within seconds, it's gone from Sunderland believing they've got a real sharp counter-attack on to a free kick to Oxford in a fine position for them, a couple of yards outside the area. And Brannigan, who scored an absolute wonder strike from a free kick routine on Easter Monday.
Further out than this.
That fizzed into the top corner, won them a crucial point against relegation rivals Cardiff. Now he's behind this one. It's a four-man Sunderland wall ordered by Anthony Patterson. Goodrum's there as well, but it's surely going to be Brannigan. And it is. Patterson makes a save, and it's a rebound into the net from Hellick. The flag looks to have stayed down, and Oxford have doubled their lead early in this second half. Michael Hellick with the goal.
Well, this time he goes for power, doesn't he? Brannigan just drills it straight through the wall. Anthony Patterson gets down low, and it just pops up off him. And again, it's Hellick who's following in. It's his fourth goal of the season for the big man. Sunderland switched off again, not following in, not helping the keeper out. Could he have parried it wide? We'll have to wait and see off the replay. But either way, a couple of minutes after the break, Oxford have doubled their lead, and it's a long way back for Sunderland. Have a look. Yeah, he's onside. Top of your picture, Patrick Roberts. He's playing him on. Possibly as well, but he's on the move there. Rolls off the wall, doesn't he? Two look across, arms up.
Went for power, didn't he? And Patterson just parried it out towards Hellick.
Decent strike, just dips, doesn't it, in front of Anthony Patterson, and he's hoping there for a bit of fortune. But Hellick, what you'd expect from a good centre forward, really, isn't it? Following in, but he's in there, the big man, for a reason, following it in. And as I said there, tapped home for his 4th of the season.
Yeah, a real threat there for this season, like you say, and he only joined from Huddersfield Town in January. Mikael Hellick, and now each of the Oxford centre-halves have got a goal. And it's a huge mammoth task now for Sunderland in this second half. First to react to Patterson's parry. What have Sunderland got in attack now? It's Hume, loses out to Goodwin, wins a throw though. Sunderland, of course, with a pretty young bench, with some potential options, many of whom started against Blackburn on Easter Monday. Job tried to roll that one, but Volk's got there first, and he's caught Patterson off his line.
It's gone, wasn't it, as well? It's on target. He's done Anthony Patterson there. As I say, it loops again down below us, the ball away, and Will Volkes spots it. Sam's rocking from an Oxford point of view. See it there now, yeah, just watching 5 yards or so inside the Sunderland half. Anthony Patterson, no man's land. Fortunately, from a Sunderland point of view, just drifts past that far post.
Of course, Oxford, who were in their first season in the Championship for 24 years, are on the cusp of confirming their place in it for a second consecutive year. They are, as it stands, safe. But from a Sunderland perspective, we need momentum. Aimless ball up towards Isidore, and Nelson gets it clear. Roberts picks up the second ball, and it's launched up by Volkes. Danny, the worst possible start to the second half.
Yeah, again, we just would have had a word or two at half time, maybe try and tweak 1 or 2 things, but within 2 minutes that's out the window, isn't it, really? As I say, free kick where Sunderland think they're on the counter attack, and Trey Hume just stands on the Oxford player's boot there, gives the free kick away. Decent strike from Brannigan, just dips in front of Anthony Patterson. Hellick doubles the side's lead, and it's a long way back from Sunderland.
There's Trey Hume, now Kjelder, there could be an opening. He's got Lefay with him in the box now. Oxford managed to deal with the danger. Look to play on the break here, Luke O'Nien. Judged the bounce better than Plaqueta. Yeah, chance there for Kjelder getting forward, had Lefay with him.
Yeah, he could have pulled the trigger himself, I thought there. You know, it was on for him, edge of the 18-yard box, isn't it? Holding up to Lefay. Opportunity went away from a Sunderland point of view.
He scored 1 career goal, Leo Kjelder, and that was for Ross County on loan from Leeds nearly 5 years ago against Kilmarnock. He's due one. How Sunderland could do with it now. Here's O'Nien. Joe. He's getting progressively deeper, it seems, to receive the ball.
No width there as we move it from right to left there. Look where Lefay's gone narrow, Kjelder's narrow, and we've got no width. We have to go back out to the right.
Oxford have won it back again in the middle third, and Plaqueta could be through here. O'Nien's the closest Sunderland man to him, but Plaqueta, and Patterson makes a save. A crucial save.
Yeah, it wasn't a clean strike, was it? He tries to get the fans going there and a chance to wrap the game up to his side. Almost scuffs it. He gets the run, doesn't he, Kjelder? He's high up on that left-hand side. Luke O'Nien trying to get across. Not a great contact on the ball.
Didn't cover himself in glory for the second goal, Patterson, but he made a smart save there to stop it being a third for Oxford. Watford have taken the lead at Blackburn. Here's Joe. Reach Hume, it does. Woodrum was lurking. Here's Chris Rigg. Looks for Hume, Lee intercepts it, and Oxford emerge with the ball again, but Dan Neil gets to that one first. He'll make his way round 2 defenders, couldn't get round a third, and he's penalised for a foul on Brannigan.
In the space of 5 seconds there, you can see a scrappy game where Chris Rigg tries to thread, gives it away. They get caught in possession, try to thread the ball, give it away as well. And say from our point of view, if you want to get back in the game from how we were playing it earlier in the season, you know, in terms of moving the ball and keeping it and frustrating sides, it's just not there. See, when you're 2-0 down chasing a game, if you can't keep hold of the ball, it's going to be a long afternoon.
Everything just seems to peter out in terms of Sunderland's attacking play. Oxford again looking pretty comfortable after the break, even more so now with their 2-goal buffer. But Isidore wins that header. Referee stops the game, bit of a clash of heads there. Isidore and Nelson. Sure looks to have come off worse.
Just gets the touch, doesn't he? With Nelson.
Peter Brandon, the physio team. In terms of substitutions, Danny, because we're getting to that point where Regis Fabrice will be considering making changes. Well, who would you kind of look at?
I'd say naturally I would. Usually it's the hour mark, isn't it, where a lot of managers tend to have a look at the bench and what's behind them. But I'm thinking today, it's a week, isn't it, before the next game as well, and he's looking to get some sort of momentum going and performance. You might want to keep these lot out there a little bit longer, really.
Yep.
Yes, of course, the game wears on. Naturally, you want to make 1 or 2 changes. But he'll want to try and get a tune out of these lads. Say just that 1 game to go next week before we go into the playoffs. And, I've heard fans saying it, it's all well and good, but it's what counts then. But you've got to go into it in the build-up there, because the confidence is going to be shot in a lot of these boys if we carry on like this.
Wilson Isidore now back to his feet and just being assessed on the sideline. He should get the wave imminently. Play continues with Luke O'Nien. Oxford still pressing high. Rigg finds Hume now. Neil gets one from him and Hellick launches it up the field.
Interesting. Not sure if he's had a pop there, spotting Anthony Patterson off his line. But
he's got his goal, Mikhail Hellick, but if that was a shot, then not one of his best, even for a centre half. When you say that,
back's on the score sheet too.
It's an advert for you guys, but at the same time, certainly not an advert for Sunderland, unfortunately. Risky clearance there, it came off an Oxford man, Rodriguez, and now Daniel loses his footing, looking to emerge with the ball. Oxford have got it back, approaching the Sunderland final third, and now it's Rodriguez. Lefay sweeps up and finds Daniel again. Looking for that long ball there, Danny. When you just
well, I just think we too often we go back into traffic. We played out of a tight area there. 6 or 7 yellow shirts across the right side of the pitch, and then we never play away from it. Play away. Where's the easier pass? We seem to come back into traffic for some reason.
Still time to turn it around. They have done it this season. Sunderland from 2 goals down. Remember Swansea away, but it will take a big lift in performance and a big drop off from Oxford as well, who are on the verge of confirming their own safety in the Championship. Kjelda now for Sunderland. Lefay on this left channel. Oxford organised, forcing Sunderland into backward passes. Jove trying to receive it on the turn there. Rodriguez back ahead of him. Again, just not real inroad, is there?
Yeah, we've seen it with Blackburn last week, didn't they? Obviously they had the goal lead and then sat back in deep and said, can you break us down? Waiting for the opportunities. Well, they've got one here now, Oxford.
Paqueta through the middle, he's got 2 men up to his left. Does need that support, although he jinks inside with a turn. Paqueta. They don't need to rush, although Enzo Lefay's done well to cut that one out. He's got Rigg to his right. To go up the line, Volks won the challenge, throw into Sunderland.
He does well, Volks, loose on the pass. It looks a little bit dry, the pitch, doesn't it? It's not really crisp, and players aren't zipping it about, a little bit bobbly. He recovers the ball for Oxford there.
Approaching this hour mark here, Sunderland still found wanting, and Mepham struggling to cross the halfway line with that, and now Oxford win it back again with Goodrum on the left-hand side. Black Cats backtracking. Goodrum, Brannigan. He'll pick it out for the shot, and it's just over the bar.
Decision making, push back in that time, praising him earlier, won't we? But it's caught in possession over on that far side. Again, the tails are up here, they're moving the ball at will, really. Brannigan trying to flip one into that top corner.
Came again, didn't it, from Sunderland being dispossessed on the halfway line. Just looking uncertain in possession. Oxford have got it back now, his Volks. Paqueta. Rodriguez up against Joe, who Nicks it through to 09. Sunderland have it back now. Dan Neil can come forward. Here's Chris Rigg. Nice turn in there, in behind Brannigan, and he'll look for the threaded ball to Isidore. Ben Nelson gets there first. Isidore still closing him down. Nelson manages to get it clear. Isidore does have it now though, from Hume, and now here's Roberts. Jobe to his left. It could open up for Sunderland here. Jobe, Lefay, they're into the Oxford box. Enzo Lefay for Sunderland. He's up against two Oxford men. And he'll look for Chris Rigg, and it's off the post. A header onto the post from Chris Rigg. It's the closest by far that Sunderland have come.
16 yards or so, isn't it, that from Chris Rigg there. Lefay just stands it up and he runs onto it, catches it flush. Keeper's rooted. Fortunately, it comes back off the outside of the post from a Sunderland point of view there, but first real opportunity in the second half on the hour mark.
And a potential much needed boost of confidence for Sunderland in terms of chance creation, because that is the closest they've come to finding the Oxford net. Chris Rigg does certainly have a goal in his locker. Here's Lefay down the left. Crossed into the back stick, and it's Rigg again, and Lee clears.
Better from Sunderland, just in the space of a couple of minutes there. See how he's keeping the ball well, moving it well.
Again, Lefay, that outlet down the left. Dan Neil's continued his run after making the pass, and he's turned inside Long. It's the first time he's beaten him all afternoon. Long does recover. Sunderland, like you say, Danny, in the last couple of minutes, improving. Yeah,
just moving it through the thirds there really well, weren't they? And then the second one as well, it's just the one from Chris Rigg, the header. Let's have a look now. Lefay, two men there, just stands it up as he comes onto it. Chris Rigg catches it flush, and then keeper's rooted.
Big chance there for Chris Rigg, still not 18 till the summer. Kjelder behind this throw-in on the left-hand side. To go to Jobe and back to Luke O'Neill. Just past the hour now. It's still Oxford 2, Sunderland 0 if you're joining us late. Here's Mepham. Carl Hellick with the Oxford goal just after half-time. Ben Nelson had given them the lead. Chris Rigg has just struck a header onto the post. Here he is now. Sunderland lads warming up on this near touchline. Of course, a reminder to get your questions in for the post-match show, where we'll run through a few answers with Danny based off this game and this season, of course. And 9 tried to knock it over there towards Mepham, and they've won it back, Oxford. It's Rodriguez. Oxford have got a player down, but they continue. He'll look for Harris, and 09 sees it through to Patterson.
Sunderland almost causing their own problems. Luke tries to be a little bit clever, doesn't he? To dink the ball across to Chris Mepham, gets cut out on that far side. Opportunity goes away though for Oxford.
Nice touch from Rick. Here's Trey Hume. Just lost his footing in it. Didn't get the conviction with the ball onto Lefay. Just looking to create that next chance to breach that Oxford back line. I've got to be careful in the back door as well, because Oxford have been looking to hit on the break. Here's Volks.
I think they've been good in there, Volks and Brannigan, getting on the ball, say offering support again here. Now he's on if he wants to pass now, but yeah, generally just slowing it down at times for Oxford and trying to dictate play.
Good run fine to Lee. Good run again. Rodriguez. Short and swift passes from Oxford, who retain possession with Brannigan. And eventually Dan Neil gets his foot to the ball. Sunderland looking to get out of that short space, and now here's Chris Rigg, and there's called back for the foul on Patrick Roberts. And Sunderland potentially wanted to carry on there.
Possibly. Ref has a little look over his shoulder. Sunderland are out, actually played away well from the pressure, but that's his book. Folks not happy.
Certainly not happy. We won't be able to repeat what Will Volks has clearly said to Tim Robinson.
Be careful there, I think. Talked himself into a red card. Just a little bit late, isn't he? Yeah, a little flip round the corner.
He's sent off for that Sunday, Luke. Hawks has had a good game for Oxford, but he is now into Tim Robertson's book.
Down there, Brannigan, quiet word in his ear, pick up the yellow card, get on with it.
Equalising against Watford. Blackburn, of course, are last opponents on Wearside. Will Vaulks, one of 10 internationals in Oxford squad, full internationals that is. He's got 7 caps for Wales. Of course, Mepham, an international teammate of his. Here's Luke O'Nien. Again, no real momentum at the moment for the visitors, trying to half that deficit. Here's Job. Lafay up ahead on this left. Oxford getting men behind the ball. Here's Dan Neal. To Hume, he's got Roberts as the short pass option. What can he do here in possession? Roberts now, Neal again, Roberts again. 30 yards from goal, he looked to dinking in behind for Job. It's headed clear. Now it's Hjelde. Roberts has drifted over to the left-hand side now, and Long should deal with that and does.
The build-up play was better from Sunderland, it worked it well from left to right, but again, then you see Oxford getting back in that shape. There's 4 or 5 yellow shirts across the 18-yard box.
Job wants to launch one forward for Isidore to chase, but Cummings going to collect that one.
Yeah, thumbs up there from Isidore. You see there, tries to make the run between the 2 big centre-backs, but it's got to be pinpoint from Job, just trying to drop it into him in behind. Comfortable for the keeper.
Do you feel in terms of that sort of lack of pace in attack that we are missing Eliza Mayenda for those quick bursts?
Oh yeah, certainly, yeah. You know, as I always say, he always has moments in the game where he makes something happen, and say he'd be looking at these 2 big centre backs and he'd be fancy getting in a foot race with them as well, wouldn't he? Certainly coming off the bench for 20-25 minutes or so, but obviously he's not available. We're short in numbers really through the middle this afternoon. Maybe looking at Tommy Watson, a little run out on the left. Does he want to have a look at Lafay through the middle at some stage as well?
Again, tried to go with that switch of play, but it's dealt with by the Oxford back line. Gary Rowett will be tremendously happy with what he's seen from his side, who are a quarter of a game away from safety. Hjelde wins a header. Here's Lafay. Long beats him to the ball in the air. Knock it back up towards Harris, and Luke O'Nien looked to take one to the face there. High boot. Demonstrating with the assistant referee.
Vaulks just turns it back down the channel. Luke's in a good position. Gets across on Harris. Back on his feet. Looks okay. It's the left arm, isn't it? In his face, yeah.
Meanwhile, here's Job for Sunderland, and back out to Lafay. Those 2 exchanging passes often in this second half. Can it be to a goal-scoring effect? Here's Leo Hjelde joining the attack. Now it's back to O'Nien. Mepham, whole Oxford team now behind the ball. Sunderland just looking for those short and sharp avenues to get forward. Neal, Rigg, Roberts. It's on his left foot from the edge of the area. And it takes a double nick and Hellick clears. Leads away for assists for Sunderland. Patrick Roberts, 7 this season, but he'll look to add to his repertoire from a goal-scoring point of view, that's for sure. As you mentioned earlier, Danny, 2 this season, 1 from a penalty.
It's been 23 games I think it is now since his last goal was at Bristol City. I think it was late on, wasn't it, that equaliser. The other one just being that penalty down at Plymouth, the only penalty we've managed to score so far this season. Yes, no, but it's frustrating. Again, it is. I know when Patrick's on it and he's flying down that right hand side, he's a joy to watch. But there's those changes now. Tommy Watson getting circling, getting ready. But it is when you look at the stats and the numbers there. Really, Patrick should be returning a lot more than what he does for his ability. Certainly in a side at the top end of the table who have a lot of possession in games.
Yes, we are approaching that point where Regis Lebris is going to look to his bench with Dennis Serkin and Tommy Watson, as you can see, preparing. Now here's Roberts, meanwhile, finds Lafay. Dan Neal's made a run in behind. It's Lafay. Good line up for Job. He's got Roberts next to him and it's bouncing around in the penalty area. Chris Rigg tried an effort that was blocked. And now Roberts picks up the loose ball. Still in the final third here. Now it's back to Mepham. Here's Neil. Skipper plays it out to Hjelde, who can knock it in from this left-hand side. Headed away by Gudrum. Only as far as Mepham. Now it's Rigg on the right flank. He's going to whip it in with the left foot over the head of Lefay. Here's Dan Neil. 9 for Sunderland. Away fans expectant. They want to see. Oh, it's a lovely turn from Joe, but it could set Sunderland on the attack here with Dan Neil on the left-hand side, and the cross is not what desired.
Yeah, so some build-up again. Difficult. They've got bodies back there. You see both of the wingers as well for Oxford getting back in. Paqueta and Gudrum helping out.
It's the end of Patrick Roberts' afternoon. Tommy Watson's going to replace him with just over 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, last week he started out on that right-hand side as well. I think naturally he prefers to play off the left, Tommy. Hjelde as well. Straight swap for Dennis Serkin.
Serkin on a left back. We've seen his capabilities going forward from that position. Comes on in place of Leo Hjelde. Dennis Serkin will, of course, hoping to be back into that starting 11 with a recall ahead of the playoffs, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think as you say now, it's going to make 20 minutes or so plus, isn't he? And then maybe look at possibly starting next week against Queen's Park Rangers.
Goal kick didn't come to fruition for Oxford, but they're still pressing the Sunderland back line. Dan Neil sweeps up. Hume tries to knock it down the line for Tommy Watson to get his first touch, but Greg Lee stands between them. He's Joe, good show of strength, just lost his footing, wins the foul though, out of Harris. Dennis Serkin now on the field, as you say, at left back. Here's Neil. Into the last 20, nice flick there into Tommy Watson, who's going to make his way into the Oxford box, and an uncertain clearance from Nelson. It's a corner for Sunderland on this left-hand side.
Yeah, he's facing his own goal there, isn't he? Tommy puts the crossing quite early, fizzes it across that 6-yard line, and a little bit of a swipe at it there, Nelson. He's already put one in that net so far this afternoon. He won't want another one. Sends it behind for a corner.
And a chance for Sunderland to stamp down a marker in this game. It comes in from the left-hand side and it's headed away by Nelson again. It's going to be a throw-in on the right. Watson comes short for Hume, but I think he wants to potentially launch one. And it comes from the Northern Irishman. It's Lefay, acrobatic, just wide. Not a bad effort there.
Coming together with Long, isn't it, just after he's got the strike, and it's there for him to take on, isn't it? Don't deal with the long throw. That's sort of thing, isn't it? On the stretch there, helps it into the area. Play the acrobatics. Good on target for Sunderland.
Be a double change for Oxford, and if you know your football, you'll have seen plenty of Matt Phillips. Of course, a long time at West Brom, 16 caps for Scotland as well, and Alex Matos, a much younger quantity for Oxford, who started against Cardiff but was dropped to the bench in favour of Mark Harris this afternoon.
Yeah, good player Phillips, certainly at championship level, isn't he? So West Brom days, generally getting up and down the flank. Obviously, was he now 33? I think he might be now, Phillips.
Ruben Rodriguez is one of the duo to make way. And Przemysław Paqueta sees his industrious afternoon come to an end as well. Matt Phillips, a veteran of the Championship now, many years in the Premier League as well, scored some delightful goals in his time with West Brom. Straight out to play from Cumming, and Lefay wants to take it quickly, the throw on the halfway line. Here's Jobe, that's going to be a foul. 112th career appearance for Jobe, and he's not even still in his teenage. I mean, it's incredible, really. Hopefully a long and successful career.
On the clock, won't he?
Yeah.
He retires.
Here he is now, big physical frame in that midfield. Brilliant on the ball as well. He gets it back from a 1-2. Isidore holding it up and trying to link the play. Watson just lost his foot in there, and Lee managed to get there into throwing out of Trey Hume.
Straight swaps looking at it from Oxford's point of view. Phillips there to this right hand side. Matos through the middle in there with Harris. Just trying to give him a bit more energy on the counter attack. Oxford's obviously got the 2-goal lead. Happy to sit off and allow Sunderland to have possession. Try and punish us when they've got the turnover.
Here's Matos, first action of the game for him. He was lost out to Watson though, and another nice turn from Rigg. He needs some support, and he was dragged back there, was he? He was indeed.
Eventually, yeah. Got a couple of those, the referee, hasn't he, where he's almost just took a moment or two to assess it. Dean knows enough in it there for Chris Rigg to win the free kick.
See if we needed it, a reminder of his quality there in that low centre of gravity and getting out of those small spaces. There were several Oxford players around him, but he got clear and won the foul. Here's O'Neill. Neil. Lefay again. Looks to be probably Sunderland's most dangerous outlet on this left-hand side. Here's Sirkin. First few touches for him. Again, Oxford pressing. Rigg finds Neil. Evades a challenging Folks, and Lee gets back to clear.
Yeah, promising move for Sunderland there, wasn't it? I think just got away from Dan Neil there. Both Trey Hume and Tommy Watson were advancing.
Loose pass from Luke O'Neill. He got away with it in the end as Harris intercepted, and now it's Lefay on the left-hand side. Job busting a gut to join him in the attack. He does find him. It's Job in the Oxford area. He's got 3 players around him. Needs some help from Sirkin. Plays it to the back stick, and it's over the head of Chris Rigg. It's Trey Hume now. He's got Watson for company. Here's Rigg. Right inside there for Trey Hume. Will get the shot away. It's blocked by Nelson and cleared by Nelson.
Yeah, a bit more ball for Sunderland now, wasn't it? Sort of last 10-15 minutes or so. And, say, forcing Oxford back and deeper. So stay down as it will, Bulldogs.
It's definitely an Oxford player. Penny for the thoughts of Regis Lebris at the moment.
Yeah. He doesn't give much away though, does he? That's one thing I would say really. So, guards close to his chest on the touchline. Back to his feet. Into the last quarter of an hour here. It's still Oxford 2, Sunderland 0. Both centre halves, Ben Nelson and Mikael Hellick, with the goals either side of the break. It's given Sunderland a mountain to climb if they want to end their run of defeats in the Championship. Here's Sirkin. 9 with that left-footed diag again, looking for Watson. That's a fantastic ball too. Watson meets it. Straight in from Hume first time, looking for Job, cleared by Sam Long, and out for a throw-in on the right. That's better. It's a lovely ball in there. I think it's Trey Hume as it's set back, but does really well Long there. He comes off Enzo Lefay, comes across on the cover on Job, wins the header.
Here's Dan Neil. Sunderland still knocking on the door. Job with the flick, he was looking for Lefay. Isidore was right behind him, and it seemed through to coming.
I think sort of similar pattern to last week really against Blackburn, wasn't it, where obviously they had the lead, they were happy to sit off, and it was all Sunderland in terms of possession. Well, that's what it's been last, say, 15-20 minutes or so, but still look for that one clear-cut opportunity. Yes, we had the one from Chris Rigg with the header off the post, sort of a half chance really, wasn't it, as he come onto it, but we haven't really carved a good clear-cut opportunity open so far in this second half.
If that goes in, does that strike fear into an otherwise calm defence?
You know, I wouldn't say fear as such really. I think, you know, in general they've handled most things well, what we've thrown at them as such, but you know, obviously it gets Sunderland back into the game. The tails are up really, and as I say, they're trying to get some sort of momentum going here, because as it stands, we're, you know, staring down the barrel of 4 defeats on the bounce, which isn't ideal at this stage of the season.
Alan Brown is on. He's on in place of Enzo Lefay, and Salis Abdul Samed is also entering the fray. It's in place of the skipper Dan Neil. Samed, of course, course, formerly of Champions League fame with Lens.
Of course, that 78 minutes or so for Lefebvre again this afternoon. A difficult one. He's had a couple of moments, hasn't he? I say almost had the assist there for Chris Rigg for the header. But in a good battle with himself and Long. I'd say Long generally come out on top.
Vest is on as well for Oxford. Terra Vest, who's just back from injury as well. Blackburn have taken the lead against Watford at Ewood Park. Moments away from the last 10 here as Sirkin is up against Matt Phillips and wins the free kick out of him. Smart play there from Dennis Sirkin, who again a player beyond his years in terms of the games he's played and the experience he's had.
Yeah. And then at the same time, a little frustrating one again, isn't he? He wants a clear season, really, stay free of injury, but he's had one or two on that wrist injury, still got the bandage on there. Frustrating one for him. Ball's been in the air so often this afternoon. Here's Isidore dropping deep to the halfway line, not been able to get so much into the game here. He's been deprived of service, in all fairness to him. Looking to add to his 12 goals this season. Here's Luke O'Neill. Again, that diagonal ball, this time with the right foot. It's looking for Alan Brown this time, and it finds him again. Looks to be dropping there to Watson, but it's cleared in the end by Oxford. Phillips with the final clearance. Rigg with the ball up towards Sirkin, headed away by Phillips. Now it's Joe. Samed. Off Matos, finds Chris Rigg, who's going to look to produce a bit of trickery again, and the throwing goes against him. Yeah, against Goodrum. Tom Watson's come across this left hand side, hasn't he, for Lefebvre. Alan Brown's taking that berth out on the right hand side. Massive goal for Plymouth against Preston. Yeah. They live to fight yet another day. They looked doomed for much of the season. They have to do it with points, so the goal difference is horrific, isn't it? But they're scrapping away down there, not giving up without a fight. Hume's header into Samed and back to Patterson. I mean, they've not really threatened Anthony Patterson aside from that second goal, but again, it's one of those, isn't it, where Oxford are happy to let Sunderland have exactly that. Yeah, they've done the damage, haven't they? So that's the concern, really. It seems to be at this moment in time when the ball's going into our box, it's resulting in an effort on goal or an opportunity, whereas we're having a lot of possession and not really doing enough with it at this moment in time.
There's Joe, still under pressure, still covering the hard yards. Oxford to seal their place. They know what's at stake if it stays like this. 09. Out comes that long ball once again, but this time it's straight into the arms of Cumming, who I think saw it far more predictably this time.
Yeah, credit to them as well. Gary Rowett stuck with the 4-4-2 really. You know, it's easy. I think Blackburn done it last week. You've seen Deon Sanderson coming on and dropping in there with that back five, but he's just changed the wonderful back there. Terra Vest coming on for Long and sticking with that front two, hasn't he? Try and keep a little bit of pressure on the Sunderland centre-backs in possession.
Matos' flick looking for Harris, so 9 deals with that. Samed can turn. Here's John. Sirkin to his left, uses it. Watson's come over to this left flank now, with Alan Brown on the field. Samed. Again, Oxford getting bodies behind the ball. That one just evaded Alan Brown. Gregory manages to clear. Difficult task at the moment, trying to up the intensity with Oxford sitting in deep. They've done their damage, like you say, Danny. Tommy Watson. Samed, Beckham. 9, plays it short this time, Sirkin. It's Watson, he was looking for Sirkin, I think, but they weren't on the same page.
He's never got on the end, it's over hit, isn't it? Taking into the space there as it opens up, he drives inside Tommy Watson on his favoured right foot and commits somebody, who's too keen to offload the ball there, really.
We've seen how well he can carry it, haven't we?
Yeah.
Plenty of times. Into the last 6 here at the Kassam. Still 2-0 advantage for Oxford. Arsenal want to help Sunderland into the Premier League as a parting gift. Sirkin tries to find Tommy Watson now on the left hand side, loses his footing but tried to hook it round for Isidore. Sirkin with the neat chest trap to Samed, now it's on Naya. Can Sunderland make this a nervy ending for an Oxford side who, in all fairness to them, have been very composed at the back and have done what they've had to do. Here's Tommy Watson though, he's got Sirkin overlapping. Cuts inside on his right foot, blocked by Phillips. O'Neill. Samed. Hugh's got Chris Rigg out on this right. Elects to use him, he's up against both Goodram and Lee. He'll win the throw-in, I think that is. Sunderland fans.
Straight faces in, what's that? Sunderland following.
Huge commitment from them. Samed with a wayward pass. It's going to be an Oxford throw, and that just about sums up the afternoon, I'm sorry to say. We're hoping for better fortune back on Weir side against Queen's Park Rangers. Debating amongst themselves.
See one or two there.
What's gone wrong? Yeah.
See one or two there pointing and saying, why haven't we done this, why haven't we done that? And yeah, just say, frustrating afternoon for those fans who've travelled down there this afternoon. The player goes down there.
Well, as we approach the latter stages of the game, Danny, you might be hard pressed for this, but who would you assess as your Sunderland man of the match?
I'd probably go for Jobe, really. I think he's put the yards in. He's tried to get Sunderland playing, taking the ball and play with a little bit more urgency than most that are out there this afternoon.
This is the second goal again.
Now, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's a good strike, and it just dips in front of that. People will be there saying, he's got to parry it wide, possibly. It's on him, it comes through the wall, and then he's open there that his defence or lads back there can help him out really and match the run of Hellick, but they don't.
Elliot Moore, the club captain, is going to come on now for these final knockings.
A big old lump as well.
And Joe Bennett as well, who has played plenty of football down the years. 35 now, the left back, formerly of Aston Villa and Middlesbrough. Mark Harris coming off. He was the man down. Here comes Bennett. Greg Lee at the left back, Elliot Moore is on. Oxford fans in fine voice, and who can blame them? Just minutes away from championship survival.
Just dropping them in there. Just to try and see it through now and into that back five. So Bennett coming on as well at left back. Those Oxford fans will be delighted. Secured status in the championship. A canter really. Coming as it stays like this, 3 minutes or so plus stoppage time. Probably one of his easier clean sheets of the season, and again we watch Oxford week in week out, but other than that, Chris Rigg header off the post, he hasn't had. Has he had a save to make? I'm not sure he has.
Particularly. And like you say, they beat Sheffield United. They have claimed some scalps here at the Kassam, but it's just unfortunate for Sunderland, just seem to be in that rut. It's a case of complete flip 180 of performance levels into those playoffs. Here's Trey Hume. We'll go into the box for Isidore and it'll bounce off him under pressure from Moore and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, but even there, I know it's been a long afternoon, his body language now, you can see he's been frustrated, Isidore there, and as that comes into him, you've got to try and get hold of that. I said it, was it Bristol City, I think, when he come on, we're down to 10 men there, and you come off the bench and just get hold of the ball for your team there. As it comes into him, argue it, or it's fizzed in around me sort of waist there, but you've got to take it in, and then get a little bit of support coming into the box.
Desperate to get back into the goals at the right time. Business end of the campaign. It's Samet now 09. Massive goal for Derby against Hull, and that's a 6-pointer down there in the Championship relegation battle. Hull are in deep trouble now. They go to Portsmouth on the final day. Derby have really had an upturn in form in recent weeks. There's 09 meanwhile for Sunderland. Sirkin. Watson. Oxford still continuing to press, but Watson's got him behind Matos, and now it's Sirkin. It's going to be a corner. Can they make it interesting here?
Derby there, big shout on it. John Eustace leaving Blackburn in the playoffs when he left, and Derby looked like they were struggling, but credit to him.
Hume, that took an awkward bounce behind from Matos into the car park, and another corner on the left hand side. 6 minutes were added on, halfway into one of those. If Sunderland can score now, then it's clutching at straws, but it's not over yet. Tim Robinson wanting to have a word with someone or other. It's Chris Mepham and Hila Terravest.
Yeah, a little bit at the far post there.
And it comes from the left hand side, and it's right under the crossbar, and Cumming had to be alert. It's going to be another corner, a third in succession.
Centre-backs there just spread out across the 6-yard area and deal with this ball coming in.
And it comes from Trey Hume towards the back stick. Cumming had to claw it away. Faulks up against Alan Brown, who makes a block for the throw-in. Oxford will take as long as they possibly can, I'm sure, with this throw-in. Assistant referee just urging on Joe Bennett. Gary Rowett will be a lot happier than he looks on that touchline.
He'll be absolutely delighted inside, of course he will, yeah, but wants to see the game through, doesn't he? Wants to keep that clean sheet intact as well.
Chase Labrise will be insurmountably frustrated, I'm sure, but there he is there. But his 50th game in charge of Sunderland will be the playoff semi-final second leg, and if that's a successful one, then in the grand scheme of things we can write this one off. So we'll pick that one up straight out for a throw-in, but the further they are up the pitch, Oxford, the more it'll certainly suit them. Job's come all the way back into his own penalty area to look to start another Sunderland attack as the time ebbs away here at the Kassam. Couldn't find a teammate. Bennett will pick up the loose ball, and he's under pressure from Chris Rigg. That's good work from Rigg, who's won the ball back off him, and he's won a free kick for his troubles as well.
Yeah, I'd say, obviously I'd probably say Job has overall been Sunderland's best player, but Chris Rigg's put a shift in. Yeah, it's not always happened for him on the ball. He's tried one or two things. One thing he does, Chris Rigg, he gets around the pitch and he'll put a challenge or two in running and try to keep on going.
And that one as well, sprinting 30-40 yards to go and win that ball. This is the sort of thing fans appreciate, isn't it? It's going to be Trey Hume behind the free kick. There's a fair few, and all the big men are along that 6-yard line, like you say, Danny. Mepham wins a header. It took a nick off an Oxford man as well. Here's Job picking up the pieces. Rig again with the reverse pass. Out to Alan Brown at the back post, and it's a threatening one. Watson just couldn't get it under. And Phillips tries to get it clear, but Sirkin wins it back off him. Still alive this for Sunderland. Rig again. And Jobe again. He's got Sirkin to his left. Can they knock it into the box one more time? Watson on the overlap. In it comes from Watson, away by Brannigan. It's going to be a throw-in.
Yeah, it was a good little ball from Chris Rig. He just reversed it and stood it up there. Bit of cramp there for Brannigan. I think it just took a nick before it arrived at the feet of Tommy Watson, just took it off its line.
2 minutes remain of the 6 added on. Sunderland in the dying embers here, trying to create something. I think that came off Sirkin last, and it did for a goal kick. Again, not Sunderland's day, is it, Danny?
No, not at all, no. Never started the game well. First 5 minutes or so, got pegged back, couldn't get a foothold in the game, then settled in a little bit, but over the course of 94, 95 minutes, not done enough in possession, been loose on the ball at times, not defended set pieces well enough. Say 2 set pieces again, really, isn't it? Long ball into the box, haven't dealt with that one, and then the second one fired through the wall, ended up in the back of the net on the follow-up.
Nick Barnes, who revealed it the other day that Oxford had forged out a bit of a pattern of inconsistency where they would pick up points and then lose one for 10 games in a row, and they were due to lose today by that pattern, but Sunderland just haven't quite done enough, and the fans have got that long trip back.
Yeah, again, on top of that, again, we were chatting with Rob before the game. You look at recent history, we've won, what was it, 5 of the last 6 before that, but again, that's in the history books, and I know fans will look at that and there's this fear of playing Coventry in the playoffs, but we've got to go into these games in current form as well, and we've not come into it in great form.
It's going to be a free kick that Oxford did look to take quickly with Volks, but no, I don't think they'll do as much as that. It should see us through to the end, I think. Sirkin just wins it from Tereves there.
That was the chance from those Oxford fans.
Oxford know they're safe.
The last game of the season.
And Swansea. Sunderland, of course, welcoming Queen's Park Rangers to the Stadium of Light in one last attempt to get back to winning ways, because they couldn't do it today. Oxford have done their job, and Sunderland are left to pick the bones out of a 4th straight league defeat. And it's going to be a long trip back, mulling over things. Of course, the real business comes at the end of the season, but it's one last chance to head into the playoffs with some degree of momentum against QPR next week. We'll debrief things in the post-match show, but the final score here at the Kassam Stadium is Oxford United 2, Sunderland 0.